Hey everyone, so I thought I would do a quick update. Well, maybe it's not going to be quick because I talk a lot, but an update about the baby. She finally came and she's beautiful and perfect. I'll attach some pictures at the end of this. Sorry, I'm kind of sick. My throat's sore today. But anyways, my last vlog, I think I was 39 weeks pregnant. I actually ended up going into the hospital like 2 or 3 times because I thought for sure I was in labor, but I wasn't. And I got sent home. I was like between 2 and 3 centimeters for a while. And it was like so discouraging and frustrating because I just wanted it to be the day. And a couple days actually before she came, I had this horrible stomach crampy. It was like having a constant contraction all day. And I had been walking all day. So finally in the evening we called my in-laws to come watch our other kids. And we went into the hospital probably around 10 p.m. because I wanted to make sure my other kids were like asleep. So I went in and she was like, I really think you're gonna come back today because, you're really low and all this stuff. So anyways, they actually made me walk laps for a while. I came home at 1:30 in the morning and I started throwing up like exorcist style. Like I can only think of one time in my life I threw up that bad. I laid down to go to bed and I literally got up and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna throw up. So I ran to the bathroom, and because I was pregnant, I couldn't get down to the ground fast enough, so I'm hovering over the toilet and I projectile vomiting into the toilet. I'm looking this way because of where my bathroom is. Into the toilet, back out, hit the wall. There was throw up on the walls. It was on the ceiling. And it's so funny because I look at the door of the bathroom, my husband's just standing there like this, oh my gosh. And then my mother-in-law came in and I thought she said that my daughter woke up, and I thought I woke her up from the sound of me throwing up, but actually what she said is she's throwing up. So while I'm throwing up in the bathroom, my daughter's throwing up, in the other bathroom. So anyways, that night was the worst night ever. I was so sick. My daughter got sick. My son had already been sick throwing up. So basically we all got the stomach flu really bad. And so then I was praying, oh my gosh, I cannot go into labor right now because I am so sick and dying. And then the next day my husband got sick. And so I was slowly starting to feel better, but I was like, oh my goodness, I don't want to go into labor while he's sick like this because I don't want him. And I guess if your husband's throwing up, he's not allowed in the labor room. Anyways, so thank God I was not in labor that day because that would have been bad. And then on the 2nd, which is the day she was born, I woke up and it was probably 8:30. So my mother-in-law had actually stayed for 3 days to take care of it, which I'm so thankful for. And so that Wednesday morning, I was like, you know what, you should go home, you need to rest. And she was like, okay, I'm just gonna go home and freshen up and pack some clothes and I'll come back. And I was like, oh yeah, that's fine. It's probably 8:30 in the morning. And then I started getting different contractions, and these ones were hurting. So she looked at me and she was like, you know what, I don't think I should go, I should stay. And I go, no, go home. You're only an hour and something away, I'll call you if something happens. She was like, oh, well, let's just wait a little bit. So my contractions started getting worse and worse, and these were, before when people said, oh, you'll know when it's the real contractions, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna know. Okay, these ones were different because when the contraction would happen, if I was sitting down, I would roll over because there was so much pressure in my butt and it was so uncomfortable. It hurt so bad, and just for the 60 seconds that it lasts, I was in pain. But anyway, so my husband and my mother-in-law kept saying, go to the hospital. I was like, no way, man, I'm not going, because I had been sent home so many times. I was totally discouraged, and I was like, I am not going to go to the hospital just to get sent home again. So my husband kept saying let's go, and I was like, I'm going to stay home until it's unbearable and I feel like I'm going to die. Then we'll go to the hospital. So 10 o'clock rolls around, 11 o'clock rolls, and he's pleading with me to go to the hospital. And my mother-in-law is like, you really don't want to have this baby at home. And I was like, no, I'm still good, And I have a pretty high pain tolerance, so my husband's like, by the time it hurts you bad enough that you feel like you're going to die, the baby's going to be out. So finally around noon-ish, I was like, okay, maybe we'll go. But I was like, I am not coming home without a baby. So in my mind I thought if they do send me home, we'll just go to the park and we'll walk laps and then go back. So we get to Kaiser, and usually it takes a long time for the actual doctor or midwife to come to check you to see if you're dilated. But this time, as we're walking in, she's like walking in with us, and I was like, oh nuts, like I need more time to like dilate more. And so she checked me right away, and she's like, oh, you're 5 centimeters and you're gonna have the baby like soon. And by then it was like probably like 1:30. And so I was like, okay. And the nurse was like so nice to me, and she was like, I really want to be here when you have your baby, but my shift is over at 6 and you probably won't have the baby before 6. And I'm like, I am having this baby before 6. So I think it was like exactly, it was like 4:45, and she said, oh, we're gonna come back and we'll check you at 5:30. And I said, okay. Right when the clock hit 5 o'clock, I like pressed the button. I'm like, this baby's coming out. And sure enough, she came out probably 15 minutes later. So it was a really good delivery. It was different from the others because okay, right before I started pushing, they were like, okay, do you want another dose of the epidural before we turn it off? And I was like, no, I think I'm okay. And then when I started pushing, I was like, dang it, I should have got another dose of that. My sister-in-law had told me about the ring of fire, and basically it's like right before the baby comes out, your crotch feels like it's like on fire. And I never felt it with the other two. So I feel like I felt it this time just because she told me about it. So, you know, right before she came out, it really feels like someone has like a torch on your crotch and everything's ripping and it hurts. But anyways, she came out and she was perfect. She was 7 pounds 6 ounces. She was 20 inches and a half. Like all my other kids, she had jaundice, so we had her on the Billy blanket for a couple days, and everything else was like okay. I feel like this recovery has been a little bit harder. Like I feel more tired, and they say, you know, by your third kid your uterine muscles are so stretched out that it cramps a lot harder so that it can go back to normal. So I do agree with that. I feel like I've been cramping a lot more than I ever did with any of my other kids. But she's a really good baby, and she's so cute and she's perfect. She reminds me a lot sorry, my throat. She reminds me a lot of my first daughter when she was a baby, the way she looks. She kind of looks like a Keebler elf to me at sometimes, so I keep joking that like she has to go in her treehouse and make us some cookies. But besides that, it's been good. I'm tired. It is an adjustment having 3 kids, and I feel bad because this baby like eats like every 2 hours, and she nurses for so long. She eats for like an hour. So I feel like I've been neglecting my other kids, and I feel bad to them, and everyone keeps telling me that this phase passes, and you know, it is getting better. So I might need to do another video on recovery, but that is basically it. Anyways, that is it, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.